My daughter befriended a traveling vendor. When she was little and years later, he showed up on her wedding day and changed how I see fatherhood forever. I'm a father in my early 30s, and I work from home as a writer. I have a daughter who was 5 at the time this started, and if there's one thing you need to know about her, it's that she never stopped talking. She learned how to speak insanely early, and ever since then, silence just hasn't been part of her personality. My wife would get overwhelmed and tell her to quiet down sometimes, but I never could. When my daughter went quiet, it felt wrong, like something was off, so she usually ended up hanging around me while I worked. Most mornings, I'd be at my desk trying to focus, and she'd be right there talking nonstop. She'd comment on people she'd seen, things she overheard, stories she half understood. One day, she came in correcting adults, making fun of another kid's explanation for rain, and then randomly asked me what relationship her mother was to me. I tried to gently send her off to play because I was on a deadline, but she ignored me completely, sat down near my feet, and started chanting nonsense rhymes at full volume. At that point, I'd already accepted that no real work was happening. Then she suddenly ran to the window and started yelling excitedly about a man on the street. I looked out and saw a tall foreign vendor walking by with loose clothes, a turban, and a big bag slung over his shoulder. The second she saw him properly, her excitement flipped into fear. She screamed, ran into the back of the house, and hid. Later, I found out she genuinely believed that his bag was full of kidnapped children. The man heard her shouting, smiled, and walked closer. Even though I was annoyed about my interrupted work, I felt awkward not acknowledging him, so I invited him inside and bought some raisins. We talked a bit. His Bengali was broken, but he spoke warmly about his homeland, about mountains and long roads, and it was oddly captivating. When he asked where my daughter was, I called her out to show her there was nothing to be afraid of. She came out slowly, clung to my legs, and stared at him like he might disappear if she blinked. He offered her some dried fruit. She refused and held on tighter. That was their first interaction. A few days later, I walked outside and saw something that surprised me. My daughter was sitting on a bench by the door, talking a mile a minute like always. Sitting on the ground in front of her was the same vendor, listening patiently, smiling, answering her questions like he had all the time in the world.